In today's video, I am diving into the demo of a game called FEROCIOUS, a jungle survival shooter with a heavy dose of dinosaurs, mysteries, and cinematic ambition. While it is still in early development, there is a lot to talk about. Some of it is promising and some of it not so much. So let's get into it. Let's first start off with the good, because there's definitely potential here. First off, dinosaurs. And not just as background noise, they are actual threats in the world. Now, I didn't get to see a lot of them in this demo, but from the few that are around, they are definitely a threat and make the world feel dangerous. The cutscenes are really good. They stood out and are surprisingly cinematic, giving a game a polished, almost action movie feel, though it is again in early development and some of these were unfinished, and in fact the first cutscene of the opening is completely unfinished and was just a placeholder, but for the few that I found in-game that you'll see here, I actually thought it was pretty well done, all things considering. Now, if we go into the gameplay itself, I love the puzzle system. Throughout the map, you're going to find puzzles that you cannot solve right away, and you will need to return later on with a specific tool or item, and this encourages exploration, almost like a Zelda-style game. Though some of them you can do right off the bat, and it's optional with rewards like extra loot or weapons. It's a clever mechanic that adds depth. Now, unfortunately, the rest of the game I didn't quite like. Some of it is personal opinion, and I'll let you know which one it is personal opinion, but others are just early access jank. Now then, for the rougher stuff, there's a lot to unpack. The biggest issue is that the game is super linear. Now, this one is my personal opinion. It's almost like a hallway, the entire map, which constantly funnels you forward, and while that's fine for a story-driven shooter game, which this game is clearly aiming to be, it does kill a lot of replayability and exploration. Now, it's not fully linear like a single hallway like Uncharted. There are branches out, however, they all will lead eventually to the same path, at least on the map that I played on in the demo. Enemies, both dinosaur and humans, are fully scripted. They are always in the same spot doing the exact same thing. So again, on replay, there will be no surprise. You know exactly where the scorpions are, you know where the little dinosaurs are that you can mind control, and you will know where the humans are, as well as the trike later on that I had to fight. Now, going back to the map design, it can be a little bit unclear of where to go. While yes, there is a arrow on the map that will show you where to go, and something that I do find clever and like is that there is a system that when you look up into the sky, you'll see a flock of birds flying in the direction of where you are supposed to go. That's a neat little environmental detail that I like. Though, what I'm getting to of why this is bad is that at one point in the demo, near the end of my playthrough, I ran into, I think it was a bug, because the path pushed me forward into one area, but it was a one-way that I could not return from, and when I got there was nowhere to go. I couldn't backtrack and I couldn't go forward. I examined every rock, every crack. There was no rope to climb down. There was no yellow paint to say to climb up. There was no dinosaurs to interact with. There was nothing. That was just the end of the run, and I'm pretty sure that was not supposed to be the end of the demo. Even when I tried reloading the game, it did not fix this. Now, at some point, there was I'm assuming a boss battle Triceratops or something like that, and I was actually kind of terrified the first time I ran up and tried to fight it, and it pretty much one-shot me. The second time, I went around it thinking maybe you're not supposed to fight it because he's there as an obstacle. So I went around, however, there was nothing on the other side. It was a dead end. So I turned around, went up on top of a cliff, and I shot at it where it couldn't fight back. So yeah, I kind of cheesed it that way, but eventually it did die, and what do I get for it? Nothing. I got no reward, there was not really any progression behind it, not even a new item, so it felt like a big moment that fell flat. Mechanically, there are a lot of little annoyances too. The looting animation is slow and clunky, though thankfully you can turn it off in the settings. The inventory system is also kind of awkward, and I don't really know if it's innovative or it feels kind of bland. And when you do craft something, there's not really an inventory slot for you to pick it from. It just is kind of there. Now, some items such as, bandages or whatever, there are buttons for you to click in order to use a bandage or to equip your weapon. However, the weapon just kind of goes into a slot and you don't know what slot it is. I did find that when I hit 1, 2, and 3 on the keyboard, some of the weapons would come up right away, and others I would have to scroll my mouse wheel in order to find. So it didn't feel that good not knowing where my weapons were and not able to take them out right away. Now, don't get me started on the grapple climbing. When you find a rope and you can climb up or down, you cannot look down while using it, which meant I accidentally walked off a cliff in the early game trying to descend down, because as you're climbing down, again, you cannot see down behind you or beneath you. I got down off of the rope onto the ledge I was supposed to be. I took one step back and I fell off the cliff. That's not user error, that's bad design. Dying is also frustrating. When you die, you get kicked back to the last campfire checkpoint, and when you do, you lose all of your progress since then. So that is an old school mechanic, and again, that one is going to be a personal opinion. Some people might like that, some people might not. And yeah, sometimes animations can also just flat out bug out like you're seeing here. That one, it's not really acceptable, but all things concerning, it's not a huge deal considering this is early access and it can be polished over. Here's the thing. This is a demo, and to be fair, Ferocious is not finished. There is clearly room for improvement, and I do like some of the ideas. The cinematic approach, the optional puzzle solving, and eventually, I would assume, enemy variety. If they can fix the bugs, improve traversal, and make the world feel a little less on rails, it could end up being something special. But right now, it's a cool concept that still need a lot of work. Let's hope they keep refining it, because fighting dinosaurs in a lost world should be awesome, and I would love to see this game reach its full potential.